Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1210 of our daily content grind, and today I thought I'd play catch up. So there was a rumored list of collabs for Transformers that came out a while ago. We talked about it a bit in the news roundup, but we didn't explore it tremendously. So now I'm kind of in a mood to talk about it again, because I didn't want to put too much credit into a leak list like that, because frankly, some of the stuff on it was kind of insane. However, one of those insane things came to pass, which was the 2-pack of Sonic. So, okay, if the Sonic the Hedgehog Transformer is real, that's still weird to say, then I have to assume the rest of the list is at least credible, and now it's time to delve into it just a little bit. So let's get started. This is basically just a catch-up on where we stand on leaked and rumored collaborative Transformer toys. So, for starters, the one project that I have no clue on is Project Bear. Now, this one is listed alongside a lot of the others that I'm talking about, so it's not like actually what one of those is. This is a completely separate thing. And they're always like vague references to what they're talking about. You know, like Project Renaissance was for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because they're all named after Renaissance artists. That leaves me to believe that Bear has to be in there somewhere. And I was trying to figure out where. Where does Bear fit in? Because like when I was trying to think of like famous bears, like, you know, the obvious ones like Winnie the Pooh and Smokey the Bear came to mind. That's literally it. Baloo. Now, hey, if they wanted to make the Sea Duck from Tailspin an actual Transformer toy, that would be incredible because that's a super cool looking vehicle. I want that as an actual toy. That's not likely though. It's not likely. I was trying to think of like what would be a good one. There are God. I was toiling in my mind about that, but I'm literally like, even now, I'm like Googling like what kind of vehicles are called bears, because there are a few. Nothing that looks like anything that would like be from pop culture though. So I'm a little bit lost on this one. I have no idea what it could be, which I guess is part of the fun. You know, because it's actually kind of nice to know, like, there's something cool on the way, but I don't know what it is yet. Likewise, I don't know what this one is. So, there is one that's simply listed as Project Mandrake. And all we know about it is that it is some form of Star Wars collab. Now, we have the... these listings are a little bit old, so this could be talking about the Mandalorian set that we're getting. I'm not entirely convinced of that, mostly because I feel like we knew about that well before it was revealed, right? And then this list leak, like, I don't think this was part of the same leak, but I'm throwing it in just in case because I couldn't figure out where Mandrake fit into any description of the Mandalorian or his vehicle. So I assume this has to be another Star Wars collab. Could be wrong, but that said, I don't know what Mandrake is as far as Star Wars canon. I did a quick little search on the Wikipedia. The only thing that I came across was a minor character whose name was Mandrake. Not an important character. Really didn't have any vehicle associated with him. Nothing about it screams like this would be a crossover collaborative. You know, if I'm thinking of like crossover collabs that would do really, really well, you know, especially if they are really being designed by the same guys that were in charge of Star Wars Transformers before, I can sense they would likely do things that are popular and different from what they did before, which would be like the number one choice on my list would be Ahsoka. That seems like the natural progression of things here, doesn't it? But I don't know how her name ties into Mandrake. So I am completely lost on this one. I am sure there is some Star Wars nerd out there. I will admit I like Star Wars, but I'm not like a huge super fan or anything. Barely own any of the toys. Haven't seen any of the movies in forever. I'm I'm just trying to figure out what it could be, and I'm lost. So if there's an intrepid Star Wars fan out there who knows the ins and outs of the universe and what that reference might be, I'm sure you could do the detective work that I am failing to. So let's talk about the stuff that is a little bit clearer, and we have a little bit more of a concrete idea of what we are actually getting. For starters, 2 more G.I. Joe listings, and one of them is like the most obvious of the obvious. Hound is being done into the Vamp, which is the G.I. Joe's go-to Jeep. Probably about the most obvious and boring of the crossovers you could possibly do with the G.I. Joe brand, but let's be fair here. It is the safest one for a lot of reasons, and it's not just because Hound is already a Jeep. The crossovers they've done for G.I. Joe have so far not been great. I really did not like the Megatron and how it was executed. The Bumblebee is a little bit better, but it's very bulky and clunky in the wrong spots. I didn't go for Cup or Soundwave. I've been burned too many times, and I'm only kind of curious about them. It's not like it's something I have to absolutely grab up. But I heard Cup was an improvement, and I heard the Thunder Machine was actually decent. I mean, it's the closest one. It's the one that looks the most appropriate because it's a blue vehicle becoming Soundwave. But other than that, I don't know. I've been burned too many times. But here, Hound already has that gap in the back of him, the way he's normally engineered to accommodate for the fact that he's an open-air vehicle. Meaning, when they convert him into something that can hold G.I. Joe characters, he's going to be fine. He's going to be just fine. This might just end up being like a Masterpiece Hound-sized toy or something. Or maybe larger. Larger now that I think about it. Because it's got to fit, it looks like it's going to have to fit 2 G.I. Joes if it's accurate. So yeah, like this could end up being the best of the best. This one could absolutely be. It's safe. It's easy. But the stuff that is hindering a lot of these releases to this point is not going to be an issue for Hound. That makes it a little bit more enticing. I might actually be down for that one. And then there's the other one that's interesting. We have like the Hiss tank as Megatron, so we have to fit Optimus Prime in there somewhere. And he's going to be this thing, the motorized battle tank, the Mobat. Optimus Prime as a tank is weird. That's a really weird call, but also it's a big G.I. Joe vehicle. It's the big American military vehicle. Okay, fine. I'll give that to you. It's probably the only thing Optimus could be in this line. It's only the second time Prime would be a tank. The first time was Reverse Convoy from the Robot Masters line, and that was only as a disguise for Rebirth Megatron. Meaning, technically, Optimus Prime himself has never been a tank. This would be a first. And that's actually pretty impressive. I did a whole video on all the different alt modes Optimus Prime has had over the years. To find one he hasn't been is pretty impressive. That actually takes some talent at this point. So yeah, I'm mixed feelings about it. It's a green tank, which means to get his red and blue in there, they're going to have to work really, really hard. I'm a little bit concerned about that. I'm worried that he's going to end up the same way Megatron ended up, which was not to my liking. I don't think the execution on Megatron is good at all. But you know what? I am at least glad to see this line continue. Transformer G.I. Joe crossover toys has been like the biggest request of Transformer fans for the longest time. They are a reality now. Maybe they could have been done better, but at the very least they are a reality now. So yeah, now we just go to treat it like the Generations line, where we just have to keep beating Hasbro in the head with a stick until they give us better ones. All right, let's move on to the other one. And I know what you're thinking, they've already done Hot Wheels. No. Hot Wheels has done Transformers. From these listings, it seems that Transformers wants to do Hot Wheels. That's only fair, isn't it? Like, okay, we're going to let you borrow Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, our most iconic characters. Our two of our most financially successful characters of all time. And we're going to let you borrow them, but we want something in return. You know, like, this is just fair at this point. So we know that this is not the toys we currently have, the Hot Wheels toys, because these have 4 listings, whereas for the Hot Wheel toys, we have already eclipsed that. We've got the Bumblebee, the Gold Bumblebee, the Hot Rod Custom Bumblebee, the Track Fleet Optimus Prime, the Individual Optimus Prime, the Ultra Magnus. That's already 6. It's already 6, and that's not even including the transforming one that's getting scalped to no end these days. Thank you, Mattel, for being really stupid about that one. Point being, this one only has 4. So we know this is on the Hasbro side. And again, I'm not big on Hot Wheels. I don't follow it as many people do. So I know there are unique original vehicles in that line. I know there are things that some people out there have told me, like, these are the iconic vehicles of the brand. These are the ones that could work for a collab like this. And I did a little bit of research myself. And I can't come up with 4, but there were 2 names that just kept coming up over and over. And if we're getting transforming Hot Wheel toys, these are the 2 I'm banking on the most. One of them is the Bone Shaker. And it's available in a ludicrous amount of decos. This is just, the iconic, this is just one of them. This is basically just the best image I could find on short notice. That's basically what it was. But yeah, this could appear in a ton of different colors and decos. They've done a ton of things with it. And yeah, it's like an old school hot rod roadster that they could just make whoever they want. These are perfect candidates for completely brand new characters. These don't not have to be like, oh, it's Hot Rod as the Bone Shaker or anything like that. No. It can just be like a brand new Transformer character. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. So that's cool. I wouldn't mind this. I wouldn't mind this because, like, old school cars are extremely rare in Transformers. Hasbro tends to focus on sleek, cool, modern cars that kids are going to be into. They don't really delve into, like, the custom hot rod, era of muscle cars. So this would actually be pretty neat. This would be definitely unique. I would be down for this one. The other one, I don't think I would be down for because I don't think it's that great looking, but that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people in the Hot Wheels fandom love the car, and it's one of the ones you think of when you think of Hot Wheels. And that's the Diora. The Diora was a custom car that was produced. One test model was made. It won a whole bunch of awards. Got sold off for like over $300,000, and that was it. That's the extent of the real world car. It never saw the light of production. This was basically it. That said, the same guy who designed this was also working on Hot Wheels at the time, so he just took his design and used it for the toy line. And it's been a recurring design ever since. Again, there's a plethora of colors they have to choose from. There's the Diora 2, which is like a more modern, sleeker version of this one. They can use that. So they have plenty of room to go. They have plenty of options here. You could imagine a weird Optimus Prime retool from this one. He'd be very leggy, but you could potentially get away with that. So those 2 I can imagine. I don't know who the other 2 would be. Again, I would have to ask a Hot Wheels expert on the matter what it would be. NFL Transformers. And the interesting thing about this one is that it's marked as multiple, like a continuous thing. Like we're either getting like a multi-pack of different ones, or we might actually be getting, like a miniature line of these, which would actually be interesting. It's described by the leaks as multiple waves. Now that's pretty obvious for NFL, but like now I'm curious, like if this is going to be like a continuous thing, what are we doing? Are we making like are we doing like generic Transformers that have like football player elements in their robot mode? Or are we like doing the collab thing and taking existing molds and just redoing them? Because I could absolutely see that. I could absolutely see that. I could see them taking AirRaiser again and retooling it and recoloring it for the Philadelphia Eagles. I can imagine them taking the new Skybite toy and retooling it into a dolphin for the Miami Dolphins. Those would be crazy and weird, but I would actually be interested. Well, I'd be interested in seeing them. I'm not interested in buying them. I'm not a football guy. I'm not a sports guy. Look at me. I work in a toy store and I talk about Transformers for a living. Do I look like a sports guy? That said, there is one hope I have for this. There are persistent rumors and rumblings that Hasbro might yet give us that Polar Claw toy that we were promised in Kingdom and never actually occurred. They could do it if they have more retools and repaints. Because keep in mind, and I just recently explained this to somebody, a huge chunk, like the largest chunk sometimes of the production cost is getting the mold made. Because it's an enormous process just to make the mold. It's an incredible amount of steel it takes to produce the mold. And then, it's incredibly expensive to replace it. So in order to actually get their money's worth out of the whole production run, that's why Hasbro looks for 2 or 3 or more uses out of every single toy. They have to get their mileage out of that mold to make up the production cost. So that's why we get so many repaints and retools these days. That said, what if we actually got Polar Claw because this collab gave them another use? Because we can't just get the Japanese BotCon repaints. That ain't gonna work. Like, that's just maybe a little bit too obscure. That's a selects release. But this, if they did a Chicago Bears retool of Polar Claw, I could see that actually working. And you know what? And as little as I know about football, what I do know is that if there's only one thing left that the Chicago Bears are good for, it's merchandising. And I think even Bears fans would agree with that. I think the most exciting one on the whole list is probably Batman. How long have we wanted a transforming Batmobile? There isn't even a question to this one. It will likely work the same way as the Ninja Turtle crossover, where it's a Batmobile that turns into a character that is very much akin to Batman. He might have a new Transformer name, but it's basically going to be Batman as a Transformer. The only question to this is, it's not even a matter of what vehicle is not going to use the Batwing for this. It's going to be a Batmobile. It's just a matter of which one. I think the safest one is the Tumbler. I can imagine them going that route. But maybe not. But that's the pop culture one, but that's not the most iconic one. If I'm thinking the iconic Batmobiles, I'm thinking the one from the animated series. I'm thinking the Adam West Batmobile. I'm thinking the original Tim Burton Batmobile. That's the one I would want. My vote would be the Tim Burton Batmobile. I love that design. That I would be absolutely down for in a heartbeat. That said, I like Batman. I would really love a Batmobile Transformer. If that's actually a thing, I don't think it matters to me which Batmobile they pick. I'm buying it. It's just that simple. You make a Batman Transformer Batmobile, I'm buying it. I love that this is on the list too. I love this is on the list. I do like my He-Man. I do like my Masters of the Universe. This is one where I really do wish we would get multiples of, because there's so much mileage you could get out of this. But there's 2 ways to go about this here. You could do this the Street Fighter crossover way. You could just give Optimus Prime and Megatron He-Man and Skeletor retools and color schemes. You could get away with that. Only problem with that scenario, if they do Skeletor as a Megatron toy, you know which one they would use. You know it'd be another Siege retool, because that's the only one we've got right now. We're still waiting on the 86 release. Please, for all that is good and holy in this world, do not use the Siege Megatron mold again. They could go that route. I don't envision them going that route. I would more expect either one of the more well-known vehicles, to actually be to be used, but frankly, there's not that many. You know, like I will admit, I'm having trouble. I'm having trouble with the names right now, coming up with the names because I have not looked at the names in a hot minute. Okay, yeah, the first one that thought in my head, I was correct. It's the attack track. You know, that big. It's basically just kind of like in the cartoon. It looked like a van, and the treads on it just kind of flipped over. The toy is neater looking. I could go for the toy actually getting a transformer. But no, it's most likely just going to be like Kingdom Tigatron redone as Battle Cat and transforming, which I would be down for immediately. You know what the greatest thing ever would be if this was like Titan scale and we could just have Castle Grayskull transforming. Imagine how incredible that would be. That'd be my pick. But I don't get to have what I want, so that's not going to happen. But I'm going to put it into everybody else's heads so that no matter what they do, you're now disappointed. You're welcome. And let's see, the final one, I think there's one more on my list. And the irony is, it's already happened technically. Macross. There is a collab leaked and rumored for Transformers Macross. And we all know there's only one thing they're going to do. And the funny thing is, Bandai already did it. Fully knowing that Hasbro couldn't trademark a color scheme, they went ahead and just made something that they what do they call it? The God of Flame. The God of Flame. And it's literally just one of their Valkyries in the Jetfire color scheme. That's a masterpiece level Jetfire. You know, dead accurate to the original toy. You know, just get some Autobot stickers and just smack them on. And there you go. That's your masterpiece Jetfire right there. You know what? And it kind of works. But Hasbro getting to do it makes me laugh so much. So we absolutely know this is going to be so Hasbro can do their own toy that is based on the original G1 Jetfire toy. Because they've never really been able to go in that direction because of the licensing issue with the design. This will allow them to do that. You know that's all they're going to really do with Macross. And I'm just going to sit back and watch as Harmony Gold's collective heads spin over the entire situation. I cannot wait. To hear the reaction. But that's basically what we got going on right now. Those are all of the leaks that we are still anticipating. Some we have no idea what they're going to be, and some of them sound incredibly enticing, and I'm super excited for them. Let me know in the comment section below which ones you are most excited for, or help me out with Bear and Mandrake. If Mandrake really is just like the Mandalorian, which by the names, that might be it, and I'm just talking about one that's already happened, then excuse me for being a little bit behind. I don't know which project is which. They never tell you what the code names were. But I just wanted to give you a little roundup. That's what we're still waiting on, and I'm excited for it. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.
You've been waiting a long time, haven't you? But the wait's almost over. You're about to meet the brightest star in the universe. We're going to make an impact.